Hello to all, and thanks to Dr. Josephine and Dr. Dawn for inviting us to speak at the International Low Carb Awareness Week on the topic of low carb for Indians. I'm Ira Sahai, a metabolic health coach and the media head of DLife.in. With me here today are Mr. Shashikant Iyengar, India's most certified and SMHP accredited metabolic health practitioner, and Mr. Anup Singh, a gold medalist engineer from the distinguished IIT Roorkee and the founder of India's oldest, largest, and the only award-winning low carb platform, DLife.in. Anup is also the pioneer of 100-gram carbs per day in a low-carb diet for Indians for diabetes remission that made thousands of diabetics in India find remission. Shashikant Iyengar and Anup Singh are the co-organizers of India's first highly acclaimed and most watched metabolic health conference, India's first low-carb conference that happened recently on 27, 28, 29th October in India. Incidentally, in the context of the International Low Carb Week, on which we are going to be talking right now, it is worth noting that India is the largest consumer of grains and refined seed oils, along with a low protein and high carbohydrates diet as a population in general. So let's begin this session by asking Shashi more about the present metabolic health status of India. Shashi, can you please elaborate on that?
Thank you very much, Ira. And first of all, I want to thank Dr. Josephine and Dr. Dawn for inviting us to share knowledge on low carb for Indians. Now, there is a tsunami of metabolic disorder in India. In fact, a recent report published in Lancet, which was carried out by ICMR or Indian Council of Medical Research, somewhere in June 2023, it actually showed that we have more than 101 million people with diabetes, 136 million people with pre-diabetes, and 36% of the population may be having hypertension or raised blood pressure. Now, the other data also shows that 1 in 5 women are having polycystic ovarian disease. Incidence of obesity is very high. Fatty liver is very high. Almost all Indians are all having central obesity. Childhood obesity is increasing. And we are not counted the incidence of insulin resistance at all, which is a totally different topic, and probably most of the population of India are all highly insulin resistant.
Okay, thanks, Shashi, for that. Shashi has talked about the present metabolic health status of India. Anup, could you enlighten us? Welcome, first of all, and could you enlighten us if there's a way to solve this epidemic?
Yeah, let me start by thanking Dr. Josephine and Dr. Dawn for inviting us. And as far as your question goes, yes, there is a way out, and that is low carbohydrate diet. And before we delve into what low carbohydrate diet is, I would like to back it up with my own case, which was the starting point for delving into low carb. Now, I'm a diabetic since February 2011, and roughly around, except for first 3 or 4 months of trials and all that, primarily have been on low carb diet, and I'll be completing around 13 years as a type 2 diabetic, which I guess must be the longest history of any diabetic in India who is pill free and maintaining a A1C of non-diabetic, which is 5.6. We always insist on 5.6 max, because we do not believe in up to 6.5 is diabetic and all that, because anything above 5.6 is diabetic for us. So when we try to implement low carb, we keep this in mind, and the final goal is A1C of 5.6 max. That's it.
So you think low carb is a good way to solve it? You agree with that?
I would say it is the only way, because if you understand diabetes is primarily the inability to handle carbohydrates. When I say carbohydrates, you can consider it same as glucose. So if we cannot handle, as a diabetic, if we cannot handle carbohydrate, the logical step would be to cut down on that. And yes, when we are cutting this, there has to be, some benchmark where up to what level we go down.
Mm-hmm.
Now, herein comes what we, yeah, am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. Herein comes what we, fix the benchmark at 100 grams per day. That is the upper limit on carbohydrate. Now, once we fix that, that can be across 2 meals primarily. or if somebody has a long history of diabetes, then they have to go down to keto range. Now, difference between keto and low carb is very simple. Ketogenic diet is primarily a very small subset of low carb. And in low carb, we are focusing on macros, whereas in ketogenic diet, we are entirely focusing on being in what is called nutritional ketosis. Now, while we are talking of low carb, let me make it very clear that vegetarian, non-vegetarian, and carnivore. These are the three dietary principles or habits that we support. We do not look at vegans at all.
Okay. Anup, the next question is low carb possible in India with the vast majority of Indians being primarily vegetarian?
Ira, before he answers, let me also say that while Anup spoke mostly on the diabetes front, but then low carbohydrate nutrition is applicable for all the entire disease spectrum of metabolic health. So it is like not only diabetes, but also obesity, weight loss, hypertension, fatty liver disease, central obesity, polycystic ovarian disease. It works in the entire spectrum. Yeah.
So the question to Anup is low carb possible in India with vast majority of Indians being primarily on a vegetarian diet?
Well, with around 2.5 years of personal journey, it was very clear that only Indians can handle Indians. Because India is such a country where every 100 kilometers the cuisine changes, recipe changes, and primarily being a vegetarian country, I would say vegetarian because even non-vegetarians would be taking non-veg twice a week or maybe thrice a week max. So yes, it's a very tricky task to handle Indians, and as we heard many experts speak during the recently concluded India's largest metabolic health conference, all of them said handling Indians is a bit tough. So now when it comes to we, as a group or team handling Indians, yes, it is very easy because we founded DLive.in primarily with this objective, that to spread the message that low carb for Indians is also possible. And when I say Indians, we are primarily meaning vegetarians. So with that, roughly out of 1,200 recipes that we have, and they're all posted by members, 50% of them are vegetarian recipes and low carb and keto. Now, others may find it very surprising that how a vegetarian can do a keto recipe. Well, it's possible. We have the numbers, we have the data to show. So yes, in short, vegetarians is possible, and to back it up, I would say, combined success stories of the entire team would be 3,000 plus as on date.
Thank you for that. Shashi, I'll come to you. Do you think low carb is evidence-based? What is your view on that?
See, it is very strongly evidence-based. If you really see, low carb is the most widely studied dietary pattern. Most widely. There are hundreds and thousands of studies available. Now, back in 2019, low carbohydrate or very low carbohydrate nutrition pattern has already entered ADA's MNT, medical nutrition treatment also. It is there right from that time to today. Even Diabetes Canada endorses VLCD, very low CHO and low CHO diet for type 1 and type 2 diabetes both. Diabetes Australia also has some information on this. And Obesity Medicine Association USA also recommends low carb diet or ketogenic diet as one of the options for weight loss. So low carb is there in the guidelines of most of the top medical associations in the world. It is just that we do not know about this, that this option is available. So that's how it is.
What are some of the protein sources, Shashi, that you would specify for vegetarians and non-vegetarians?
Yeah, I think this question becomes very important because the moment we say low carb, it is usually low carb, high fat, and we tend to ignore the most important aspect, and that is the proteins. So lowering carbohydrate is easy, increasing the fats is also easy, but what about protein? This becomes very, very tricky in the Indian context. So in India, it's divided into non-veg and veg. So veg are those who are lacto-vegetarian. They take dairy protein. And then non-veg, they take everything. There are in between also what is called as lacto-vegetarian. There is some of the vegetarians also don't mind taking eggs. So let us come to veg first. So veg, the sources are paneer or Indian cottage cheese. And then we have yogurt. Yogurt can be taken, or strained yogurt, or we call it hung curd. Cheese is available, and maybe some pulses and legumes, as depending upon the tolerance they can have it. Eggs, of course, this is something which can be had by all. In fact, there are a lot of vegetarians who take eggs, and all non-veg take eggs. And then we have pure non-vegetarians who don't mind taking meat, fish, eggs, poultry, chicken, whatever you name it. So the world is open to them. So these are the sources.
Yeah, thank you, Shashi. Can we have a display of some samples of a low carb Indian plate?
Yeah, so we will do this, and I think this information will be very, very useful for many. So low carb for Indians, and again, the protein sources is what we are given here: paneer, hung curd, all cheeses, some lentil, legumes, eggs, meat, fish, chicken. Fats, what we recommend is ghee, butter, coconut oil, and we can use avocado, of course. When it comes to carbohydrate, what we recommend is non-starchy vegetables, sprouts, some fresh berries, and others are like nuts, seeds, and coffee or tea, everything without the milk, of course. Restricted food items are grains, millets, starchy root vegetable, including raw bananas, sugars, high sugar fruits, fruit juices. All modern processed foods are out, and refined vegetable oil, which seems to be a big culprit. Now, paneer is the favorite and most favored protein source in India, whether it is vegetarians or non-vegetarian. So we have various options. You can use paneer bhurji, paneer sandwich, paneer tikka, paneer saute, paneer patties, paneer butter masala. So it is very versatile dish which is available, and a lot of options. Each one of these options can be had. Let us say we can have one dish a day. And then eggs, another versatile dish. It can be prepared in so many forms, as omelette, as boiled egg, as shakshuka, maybe egg curry, burji, or even poached egg. It is, or scrambled egg. It is so versatile. And then we have the favorite or famous chicken in India. So the poultry or chicken is very, very popular in India. They can be had in various form. Meat in various form, of course, as keema, as
A lot of seekh kebab there, and mutton curry and boti and all of that.
can have that. And then seafood. You can describe this well, Ira.
Yeah, I think there's fish curry in there. There's crab masala and pan-fried whole fish and prawns curry. And I think sky's the limit as far as seafood is concerned in India. There are squids, there are octopus, and all kinds of seafood.
Yeah.
It's a versatile range.
So whatever they want, they can have it. And the world wanted to see what does the plate look like? What does the Indian plate look like? So these are some of the plate, but these are all what we have done is see, like these are all for non-vegetarian, it is very easy. We have seen the earlier slides, but for what will we do for vegetarians and those who eat egg? These are typical meals which are from the actual clients. Some of the clients have sent us. So this is the meal of one of the client. He has made this very nicely and varied it. So this becomes very, very interesting way. You can see in one of these that they have added vegetables. They have added either eggs in various form, avocado, and then the hung curd or strained yogurt is also there. So it is boiled egg or sunny side up or omelette. So there are more to come. So these are all the other options which are available. The mushroom dishes are available. And then you can bake some of those fancy items if you have an oven at home. And then avocado is very easy to eat. You can eat it, just scoop it out, or you can have it in any other form, maybe as a shake also. Low carb shopping, of course, very, very easy. Just get those eggs, meat, fish, paneer, non-starchy vegetables, becomes very, very easy. Fancy low carb dishes are also there. Like these are all, let us say, grilled halloumi. We can even make eggs as, let us say, what do you call this, Ira?
These are waffles.
Waffles, yeah, egg waffles. So egg waffles are there. We can make low carb, non-sugar chocolates also. Hung curd. And then maybe peanut. It is very famous in India. We call it peanut chaat masala. You just slice some onion, tomato, and put some fancy Indian masalas in this. And these are all little specialized. Not many may go for it. It is something like having this low carb atta in India, maybe koli rice, shirataki noodle, then konjac rice, all some of the other options are. These are all fancy items. While people may not go for this, but then these are always available. So as we have seen, our Indian low carb dishes are very simple.
Such
Just emphasis on protein.
Yes.
And what I want to add here is most of the people who adopt low carb, ultimately they go for time restricted feeding. That is, they go for intermittent fasting, 2 meals a day. So instead of having multiple meals, just having 2 meals makes it very easy for people to really adopt. This becomes very nutrient dense. You can see that we have added a lot of protein. Protein is a real nutrient dense food along with a lot of non-starchy vegetables. They can have nuts, they can add up seeds and various other good fats like, let us say, butter, ghee, and coconut oil is what we recommend for cooking. We don't need to drink this fat. These are all there for cooking. So I think in a broad context, this is how we have shown that what are the various breakup of protein, carbohydrate, fats, and the actual what a meal looks like. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Shashi, for that answer. I wanted to clear a very important question. For people who are on medicines for diabetes and for BP, can they do a low carb diet? And if they can, what are the caveats that they should be looking at?
See, they can do, we need to work with a doctor or with a medical practitioner who will adjust the dosage. So what are the caveats? Some of the drugs like insulin. So we will have to be very careful. We will have to really monitor the blood sugar levels. They will have to monitor multiple times before meal, after meal, especially those who are on insulin. Because we have seen that with low carb diet, the blood sugar crashes or it doesn't rise as high as it was with high carb meal. We'll have to be very careful. The other drugs which has to be careful is those who are on sulfonylurea class of drug, because this will again release insulin from the pancreas. It will keep continuously releasing throughout the day. So they need to have a medical practitioner along with side who will adjust the dosage. And then we have a new class of drug called SGLT2 inhibitors, the gliflozins. And these gliflozins or SGLT2 inhibitors are not really recommended along with ketogenic way of eating, because it can give rise to what is called as euglycemic diabetic ketoacidosis. So it is contraindicated, and we need to be a little careful and get the people out of these drugs as and when they start the ketogenic version of the diet. And then we have the other, like maybe insulin secretagogue, we'll have to be very careful with, especially drugs like repaglinide. Then we have the voglibos or acarbose type of drugs, which are carbohydrate blockers. Essentially, it is not useful at all. And we have metformin. Metformin goes very safely with this. And for the matter, gliptin class of drug, vildagliptin, sitagliptin, they go very well with this. There is absolutely no need to fear hypoglycemia. So what we need to fear is the fear of hypoglycemia may be there. So I given a breakup of most of the drugs which are used in India and probably abroad also. So they need to be very careful and they need to work with the doctors. Now, the other aspect is also that people who are on hypertensive, antihypertensive drugs, on blood pressure medication, they need to be very careful, because low carbohydrate also addresses blood pressure. So blood pressure will come down. So they need to be in touch with their doctors to titrate the medication downwards when it comes to blood pressure. So I think broadly, these are the two medications which we need to be very careful. Yeah.
Thank you for that answer. I think I'll come to Anup next. Anup, could you tell us what are we doing in India to help people adopt a low carb lifestyle and diet?
See, primarily, DLife.in initially was a community, but in 2020, we launched the Low Carb Nutrition Diploma course, focusing on metabolic health conditions. Now, we are already there, with the army of low carb nutrition experts. And the whole idea of the course was to, to expand this and take it everywhere in India and abroad. And essentially we are doing a service. We are doing a service for India particularly and world at large. Now, as far as the course is concerned, we have got enrollments from around 6 countries, including India right now, and we are expanding. Slowly, we are expanding, and we are hopeful that with passage of time, this army would be growing to an extent where in every city or major city of India at least, we will be visible. And the metabolic health conference also, that was done again as a service for nation, and Shashi would talk more on that, or he has already talked. And that's it.
I think I'll come to Shashi with the same question. Shashi, you can elaborate on this. How are we?
I think we have. You mentioned this, and Anup has also mentioned this, that we have hosted the largest metabolic health conference, India's first low carb conference, 12 hours a day, 46 sessions, absolutely free of cost. That no one had to pay one single Indian rupees or one single Indian paise for this. It's a live stream free. It is still available in YouTube channel that people can go ahead and see all the 3 days. Sessions, and this was our service to nation, that what we will do something to make people aware that there's a different option. Now let me also tell you that we are also planning a second event very shortly, going to be more specific, more scientific, and it's going to be free again. People don't have to pay one single Indian rupees to see this. And we already got the top brains in the first event. Even the second event, we'll be getting more top brains who will come and educate India, not only the public, but also possibly we will try and educate the medical community itself that low carb is a good option. So this is where we are headed at. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I think that brings us to our conclusion of our session at the International Low Carb Week. We wish Dr. Josephine and Dr. Dawn all the very best for the upcoming events. Good wishes from India. Thank you. Thank you for coming, Shashi and Anand.